The first step when you're going to knit a sweater is to do gauge. And I did a very small gauge swatch here, and I noticed I wasn't very good about doing a lot of rows, and one reason for that, since this is stockinette, I'm going to knit to the length rather than to a certain number of rows, so it wasn't really necessary. Now, in the pattern there will be a worksheet for how to do this, but I just want to show you the process. Basically, you mark off the selvage stitches. You don't want to include the selvage stitches in the measurement. And you count the stitches that you have. I have 18 stitches here, and you can see that the width is 4 1/4. And so what I do with my calculator is I put in the number of stitches, get 18 stitches, and divide it by the width, 4.25. And what that is giving me is the number of stitches per inch. And you can see why it doesn't really work just to hold a ruler up to a piece of knitting and to count the stitches, because it's never going to give you an accurate measurement. Now what I do at this point is, if I want to find out if I'm getting gauge, the kind of industry standard for what you measure for gauge is 4 inches. So this times 4, and that's going to give me 16.94. Now at this point what I can do is I can round it up. So my stitch gauge is 17 stitches per inch. I have calculated my row gauge and it's about 7 stitches per inch, but again, that's not that critical for this. Now when you do your gauge swatch, and I would suggest you do it a little better than I did, and also block it, wet block it, pin it, let it dry completely, because sometimes they'll shrink in as they dry. If I'm getting more stitches than the recommended gauge, let's say I am getting 18 stitches or 19 stitches, I need to use a smaller needle to make those stitches smaller. If I am getting fewer stitches, if I'm getting, say, 15 stitches, I'm going to need to use a larger needle in order to get the gauge that I need.